And again, we are just getting pushed in. Boom! Our Hela gets another snipe. Reses our Thor, which is huge. Boom. Which again, all these kills and all these different things, like, yes, they're getting reses off too, but we are just getting the value down. And eventually, oh no, our comp is more mobile, we have more damage output, we can keep resing as many times as we need. Boom. And again, another kill and another kill. And that's it. Oh, and then they try to stall, doesn't matter. So really what I want to emphasize there is, if we look at the scores now, right? Gothick's playing Warlock, so he's already got 7 final hits. The Hela's gotten like 20 final hits at this point. Let me double check that one more time, making sure I'm not losing my mind.
Score is 0, 2, 3.
Simp is playing Thor, 10 final hits. I want to say the Star-Lord's 12. So, all in all, everyone on our team is outputting damage, other than myself, obviously. And I'll have to get to that in a minute. But what is helping is this pressure from the two DP or from the two revive healers. Is the cool thing about Adam and Mantis is I do think they're super strong in a triple heal comp because they don't have the healing pressure that other healers provide. They're kind of like pseudo DPS, and like Mantis even is this weird all-around support where she's a combination of buff, heal, and DPS threat all in one. So by allowing myself to kind of play the more passive major healing role and just making sure that our team is constantly getting these reses incoming, our team is able to output a lot of damage, getting a lot of pressure out. And look at the enemy team. They're not really getting as much damage and as much pressure out. And they're not able to keep up. Like, our healing isn't much, really about the same as the enemy's team, but our healers are doing a lot more work at 6 and 5 final hits, respectively. So I think it's a really awesome way of playing triple healing without having to rely on the healing component. And then again, even if they are dying, it doesn't matter because they're just getting rezzed through it, which is just applying the constant pressure. And that little bit of pressure early is allowing us to snowball for time. And if you look, we didn't have a lot of time left on the clock, even with our advantage. So, sadly, even though I think we were playing the stronger comp, we were really having to eat a lot of the time in order to make this full complete happen. But it doesn't matter how long it takes, as long as you eventually just get there. And again, I really do attribute that to the fact that we were, even if we were not superior players, we had a superior
comp. Switch things up, including which side you're on. You'll need a top-notch team to win this one.
So again, I think we recognize that what is working for us is still working. It looks like, if I remember correctly, they still go for the same thing. I don't know what their comments were saying. Honestly, I don't think there's really anything I would say they're really doing wrong, because if you look at it, I would say Thing is probably the odd man out here, because it's like, yeah, we don't have a frontline tank, but like, who is he realistically jumping on? Like, Hela and Star-Lord can both flank. Thor's a dive tank. Mantis is super fast. Realistically, he's jumping on Adam Warlock in the best case scenario. But I don't know, like, how deep does he have to go to really get to Adam Warlock? And Adam Warlock can do a bunch of damage while Thing's trying to come in. So I really think probably Thing is the questionable pick here. I think the Spider-Man's also semi-questionable, because again, it goes back to the question of who is he diving? Like, Mantis has sleep, Rocket has dashes. Adam Warlock has Soul Bond and like nuke heals. Star Lord can dash. Maybe and it's like you don't want to jump on Thor as Spider-Man and like maybe Hela, but even that's like semi-questionable. So it's like I don't know what the choice was. At least Venom, even if like the healers can maybe get away from Venom, at least Venom can at least apply pressure to the back line. So there's an argument for that. I don't know if it's necessarily the best choice, but at least it's an argument. And then Hela is just Hela. Hela's just so good that as long as she's hitting her shots, she's probably doing enough for her team. And she had 8 final hits. I don't think she's doing bad. I do think she got definitely Hela diffed, to say the least. And like Spider-Man still got 9 final hits, though I believe if we were to relook at it, most of those final hits are coming from his ult, not from anything happening outside of his ult. And I'm going to talk more about that in my second part of this video. So, okay. Boom. We go in. So again, nothing super crazy here. I'm going to switch my POV.
30 seconds before
So
you
again,
tap.
I'm just putting my res here. For those that are curious, I like putting the res here a lot of times. I have been experimenting with putting a res here or even here. They're not terrible spots. And usually though, what happens is, I have to know where my team is going to position. I've noticed a lot of teams do like to position like around in this corner. And if you're able to hold that position, the spot is not terrible. I don't think it's ideal. Second story is a little bit harder for people to get to. I think that's why I've been kind of liking it. I think in retrospect, when I'm kind of talking to myself, I don't want to put it over here because that's too easy. I think this would actually be a decent spot because I don't think a lot of people are necessarily going to come into this corridor, and you're not going to see it from that perspective. So that could be an argument, though you would see the armor packets, which may clue you in. Outside of that, the only problem that I have with this back wall is if people are dying out here, that's a major issue. That's an issue I do have a lot, is like people like consistency on where people are dying. Are they dying up here or are they dying within the boundary? And I obviously don't want to put it here because the enemy is going to access this at some point. So I think honestly this still leads to this kind of being the best spot. Just because I think the enemy is more likely to access this high ground as they're pushing in. And I think if they're coming over here, they're diving super deep, and they shouldn't be getting that for free. So, but that's again some retrospect. I will continue thinking about that. There's probably an argument to be made for down here, but I feel like a lot of players do end up coming into this room, and I do believe that barrier does change. And I think there's just too many opportunities for a weird flank from that angle. So we move around. Let me see. Where do I place my camera while we're adjusting? Hopefully I'm not making anyone nauseous by the constant camera movements. If I am, please let me know. I'm sorry.
2, 1.
So again, noticing, I think when we started this round, I was a little worried about our positioning. Because we have Thor down here. We have Mantis up there. Star-Lord's with me, and Adam Warlock's just kind of taking the bottom ground. I was really worried about our positioning. Hela's not in a bad spot for a super aggro. I'm actually sitting the farthest back because I'm confused why we have so many people spread out everywhere. And because if I die, our redstone goes down, I want to be farther in the back to try to make sure that that's we don't die. Hey, Shadow. So I want to kind of be sitting further in the back to kind of just review what I'm doing and trying to figure out why my team's positioned the way that they are. So once our team actually does move up, I recognize, okay, team's moving up. I'm safer to move up and actually kind of really actually help my team. Enemy team is obviously pushing up. And again, I like that my team doesn't like overcommit. I notice a lot of players like to like play way up here. And I think that it's super punishable. I don't really like this corner, but I think at least the corner is a little bit better than this brick wall, because if you go up to this brick wall, it's harder to fall back. And I think that if you're at least hugging this wall in this like little corner, you're not as like you have a better chance of falling back than if you're way pushed up like that. But okay, we're just pumping out little orbs. Again, I'm overcommitting on the orbs right now because I just don't want to make sure that anyone's taking free shots. Spider-Man whips onto me. I don't care. No big deal. Then we immediately kill Spider-Man. So again, we're just fighting it all out. I again go back to my favorite spot, which is this res right here. It gives me a perfect ability to shoot all these little balls into this alleyway. And our Hela is actually really aggressive. I kind of want to see what she does from this perspective. Hold on. So there's our Hela. There's our team. Try to get a good angle. Here we go. So Hela's just fighting their Hela. Boom. Instantly wins the Hela fight. Like, honestly, one of our biggest advantages of this game was our Hela just Hela diffed their Hela, which is relevant to this conversation. So, would we have been as successful without the Hela diff? Maybe not, but that Hela diff did make the game a lot easier. So again, we're fighting. Things are happening. Oh, Hela actually saves herself in time, which is amazing. We start to move up. Spider-Man goes for me again. Doesn't matter. I'm just going to play around. So again, he doesn't get anything, and as soon as he jumps onto me, my team backs me up immediately. Doug was right there to go blow him up. So he gets nothing once again. And we're just playing defensive. Nobody's dead. Nobody's died yet. We've got a couple picks off really early. Spider-Man is still trying to find a pick. Boom. And right now, cooldowns are coming in. We have firepower. Oh no, we've lost 2. We are in deep, deep trouble. We have lost 2, but here's what I think really showcases what was important here. So Spider-Man comes on to me. I have experience. I get away. We have lost a couple people already. But here's the important part that's about to come. Mantis just rezzed. She's keeping an eye on Thor. Duck is finding a space spot and realizes Spider-Man isn't doing anything. And we're about to get Hela now. She immediately gets a res off. Perfect. Star-Lord is now ulting as Mantis has already done what she can for Thor. Thor is keeping himself alive. Hela just rezzed. And boom. And Adam Warlock just rezzed. Boom. We have a bunch of reses popping off, and we just take a really bad start to a fight, and due to the sheer number of reses, completely turn that fight around. So now, we went from, we just lost 2-3 people on the outset of that fight, to we completely defended the fight, had all 6 people up, and are able to reestablish our foothold again. This, in my mind, is like what made this comp so good. Was that we had all those early elements to start a fight that in any other comp would have just spelled disaster. And we're just able to just brush it off, come back, and completely turn the fight around. Due to having 2 very powerful DPS and a lot of healers that are just able to just take advantage of additional time. So we go back. Hela again's doing her thing. Nothing crazy again. Again, Spider-Man's just messing with me in the back. Again, I actually kind of like this matchup. I actually think Rocket versus Spider-Man is usually pretty good. But again, I'm glad that my team in this game was paying attention and was going like, oh, look, Spider-Man's diving the back line again. And at least trying to apply pressure. And boom, dies. And again, I'm just able to just completely just free fire, make sure that everybody's getting... Again, there's a lot of wasted heals going out, but I'm just double checking, making sure nobody's taking stupid damage. And again, nobody's getting any real advantage. Star-Lord, boom. And we're just ahead. So at this point, I want to notice the clock down. Minute 30 left on the clock. Minute 30, they have not made any progress on this point. The best fight that they had was completely turned on its head, and now they're having to try to rebuild ult charges to make a comeback. And then even worse, we're just watching them. And Warlock goes upstairs. So he's completely zoned out of the fight. Up, Hela dies. It's unfortunate. We pop Amplifier to make sure, again, we are at a numbers advantage. We want to try to get as much pressure in this fight coming up as we can. We are kind of the better team. So if we can just get any kills, that's going to pay out for us. Now, here, they send 2 DPS after me. Star-Lord is trying to back me up. Their Mantis and their Warlock. We have Mantis and Warlock dealing with both tanks downstairs. And they're just taking care of themselves. Unfortunately, they die. I put a res down. Unfortunately, they killed my res. Our Star-Lord is just waiting. He recognizes it's not a good time to res. I recognize that this isn't a good place to be. I think about like trying to stall the fight. Unfortunately, I hesitated too long and I just died. I should have just left. So, okay. So finally, they do eventually overwhelm us. But that took one pick, and then they're finally able to res it. Okay. So what happens the rest of the game? So the rest of the game, team's pulling back. I'm waiting for my res. Boom. Team picks 1 while we're pulling back. Star-Lord dies. Mantis dies. That would normally be disaster. But because we are running infinite reses, boom, Mantis reses herself. Star-Lord looks like he's resing herself, or resing himself. He decides not to. Doesn't see a good opportunity. I sit back. We're just pumping heals. We're going to wait. No reason to play aggressive. I put a res back there just to make sure in case anyone dies. And then boom, Star-Lord just cleans them up. Now I've got Knucklehead trying to shoot me up top. Doesn't matter. And Hela is just diffing their DPS. It's laughable. I put a res. So this is something I've been liking to do a lot, is putting this res here. Because generally speaking, the enemy team doesn't really see it. Do they? No, I don't think they can at all. They can kind of see the HP bar. I don't think they can see the HP bar if they don't have vision of it. So it's kind of in a sneaky spot. And normally speaking, most people are not going to see that spot. Hello, insert joke here. Appreciate you coming to visit. Just forgive me while I finish up some monologuing real quick. So, at this point, we have a res spot. Team's ahead. We've had control of the point. We still got to burn 1.5 minutes on the time. Boom. Hela just gets another snipe. Beautiful. As all things should be. Great. Now, I'm up here. There's an argument to be made I shouldn't be here, but I kind of like this spot. Just because I can see my team pushing up. This building in front of me is blocking the enemy's line of sight of me. And Hela's in a beautiful spot to just pop off and do her thing. So I'm in a great spot. I'm happy with her. Venom just tries to jump on me. Again, I immediately... Hela's popping her ult. Venom dives to me. I'm able to dive forward to the next building. I think I heard it's healing time, and I think I jumped on my Mantis thinking that she was the one who popped her ult. Just because I'm an idiot and still cannot tell the difference between different ults. Our Warlock is about to suffer a cruel and unjust fate. Except no, because our healers just take care of him and make sure that he doesn't die. Beautiful. And again, all that work and nobody is dying here. We have enough healing going out. We have enough damage to follow up. Oh no, our Star-Lord died. And he can just res himself and come right back in. Thor dies. Unfortunate. Hela isn't able to get a kill. She finally does get a kill. Now, I haven't used my res beacon yet. Unfortunately, we're super pushed up
Down to 30
that res
seconds.
beacon never got value.
Get that vehicle moving again.
And so we keep pushing, we keep fighting. Again, our team is just playing super aggro. Hela is just diffing them in the back, not even close.
The final 10 seconds.
Star-Lord finally gets a good ult. And he just motos the rest of the team, and that's it.
We are unfinal.
And that's it. So
One,
this
two,
is
three.
this game was super great. And again, just as a reminder, our final scores was again hella just hard diffing them. Star-Lord had some fantastic ults in that game. Even our healers, Mantis with 8 final hits and Warlock with 10 final hits. Like, hey, look, Adam Warlock had more final hits than everyone on their team, but the Bucky. Honestly, that game came down to the Adam Canyon. I don't know, buddy. I want to give you credit for that game, but I think that 100% really comes down to um, the Hella diff. Like that Hella was out of her mind, and I think that really, and that's the other thing I want to talk about in this near the end of this video is really the importance of getting kills outside of ultimates. That Hella was not scary because of her ult. That Hella was scary because she was massacring people and winning constant 1-for-1s outside of these fights. And that's really ultimately, I think, why I think it's so strange that we hyper value defensive ults like Luna, like Cloak and Dagger. All things said and done, like Cloak and Dagger and Luna is not going to save you from a Hella diving your backline and just sniping all your carries. There is no save for that. There is no healer good enough in this game to save you from that. Most of everything that happened in this game happened outside of ultimates, with maybe the Star-Lord ult kind of being the exception. If you realistically look at this game, the ults were not the most game-changing part of this game. Most of this game was decided due to the revive passives and the amount of kills that were occurring outside of the revive passives. And I think that's ultimately, fundamentally, where I think a lot of people, in my mind, I think is just not appreciated enough in this game. I think we put a lot of value on defensive ults, but I think that this game showcases how you don't need strong defensive ults to win games. You just need to constantly apply pressure and to constantly have presence. And this game was a great showcase of what happens when you're able to constantly have pressure. When your death doesn't matter. And I think revives are such a strong, underappreciated part of this game system. Now, I will say, I think this, if you're going to play a res comp, this is about as good of a res comp as you can get. Thor Hela with the Adam Warlock package and Rocket Raccoon, I don't think you can get much better than that. Maybe somebody can come up with a slightly better version, but I think that in terms of res packages, this is one of the highest DPS comps you can have that has a good combination of pressure, healing, strong utility, CC, all of it. And you can win from multiple angles while also having incredibly powerful ults. You still have a defensive ult in Mantis, bear in mind. And then I will mention, too, I don't think Gothuk ever really got Adam Warlock ult off that game, though I don't think there was ever a really great opportunity for it. So, which is good. A good game for Adam Warlock is one where he doesn't have to use his ult in an ironic sense. As long as he does damage and kills people, that's all that can be asked. And if we look at the in-game numbers, the combined healing of all the healers is about the same as the enemy teams. I think we might have a little bit more. But our two healers, Adam Warlock and Mantis, and I'm going to put healers in quotation marks, have kills. They have damage. They're just outputting more pressure than anyone else on their team. Because their two healers, the Adam Warlock and the Mantis, are actually having to focus on healing. Whereas our two of our healers are able to focus on damaging almost the entire game. And I think that is a much more significant contribution. In an ironic sense, the rocket frees them up to do that, giving our team a much stronger advantage in the end. And then how much did their thing do? The thing only did 15,000 damage, which kind of goes back to my point of I don't really know who he was supposed to be hitting all game. I don't know who he could hit. I mean, he got a couple of good ults off, but even his ults weren't exactly phenomenal. So, cool. So that's the first video I wanted to kind of talk about today. Now the second video. Pretty much only me can go over, which is exactly what I said earlier, right? Is I do think, I don't think Thing had a really good target that game to really go after other than you. And even that's kind of like, okay, if he goes after you, you're just going to put a bunch of damage into him, bomb heal yourself. And like, yeah, he still might kill you in the end, but like, how much does he have to do to get to that point? Like, and then he's only killing you, who has a revive. Congrats, that's not helping anybody. Like, I actually think a different take for him would have been much, much better. All right, Duck. I'm going to have a pretty long monologue here, so. And like I said, insert joke, welcome back. I appreciate you stopping by and saying hi. Just want to make sure that was clear. I know I was rambling for a bit. But yeah, Shadow, I'm going to talk about this game. I'm going to try to talk some things through. So I'm going to be in a long monologue here. So this game. So I have a video posted showcasing this game. And I was incredibly frustrated and upset at this game. And so I want to kind of take a look at this game. I'm going to be critical of myself. Or try to be as critical as I can about myself. I know I'm not the best at that. But I kind of look at what I think the problems were, what I should have done differently, and kind of analyze kind of the irony of this game. And why I was kind of so frustrated given my current understanding of the game and kind of my current skill level preventing me from doing more. So, okay, skipping through the bans, we banned Star-Lord. I think that's for me because I'm just sick. I was sick and tired of seeing Star-Lord at that point. I felt like Star-Lord was just a super strong character. We banned Storm. Storm's super strong. Bans make sense. I don't think there's anything really here to talk about other than like the Star-Lord ban. Just something I'm not very fond of playing.
The right heroes could make all the difference.
So again, everybody's picking their characters. Again, I always play at Rocket Raccoon. That's what I play. That's what I main. That's what I enjoy. And I want to kind of go through my process through this game and kind of explain why I like playing Rocket, and then kind of also explaining why, I don't necessarily always swap to other healers right away.
In 30 seconds. Stay strong.
So, right out the gate, we have an okay looking comp. I'll wait till we kind of get started, but we have our two healers. I'm not really excited to see Moon Knights, to be honest, but like, we have a Hela, we have a Thor. Mr. Milkman and Goth Ducks are both in the comms with me, so I do know these two people, and I'm thinking, okay, I've got two friends, I should be able to rely on them. That's fine. We have Invisible Woman Thing, high damage, so we have a good damage comp. So I'm sitting here looking at this comp going, other than the Moon Knight, which I'm not crazy about, we have damage. And even Moon Knight can have big moments. So I'm willing to humor.
Same as you, pal. I'm worthy.
I'm sitting here thinking we have a lot of opportunities to get kills.
You must jest, Rocketeer.
So again, we're speeding this up. Nothing crazy yet.
The battle starts in 5.
Boom, boom, boom.
3. You have to stop them from securing the mission area.
And so the game begins. So right out the gate, I notice that's Mantis. No big deal.
Tuesday in our family.
I'm just slowly pushing up. I'm trying to use the terrain to my advantage. One thing I'm a little upset about in this game, and something I do wish, I don't know if I should be the one initiating this more, mostly because I am the healer. I should be kind of following the team. But one thing I really has kind of come up to my mind is, even as I get into higher tier elo, something that always surprised me is the number of people that just feed into this choke point. All right, we see Namor is here, trying to squeeze into this choke point, especially seeing that they have a penny, that they have Namor squids. Like, I don't know why we're just not already... Oh, he was already there the whole time. Interesting. Why we're just all choosing to feed into this choke point, and why nobody is making, especially Moon Knight, taking the opportunity to abuse this flank. And I don't know what it is about teams being scared of using this flank here. Because this is a great opportunity to just get in there. But no one really uses it. We're just going to feed into the choke point here. And again, I'm with the team. Maybe I should be the one communicating that and saying, hey, can we use the flank? Do we have to feed into this choke point? Do we want to feed into a choke point with Penny right there? I don't think so. So, continuing along. Oops. So, actually, I'm going to stick to my POV for the majority of this video, just to kind of explain my thought process and kind of explain what I'm seeing. So, again, I'm just kind of burning orbs. Boom, there's a Spider-Man. She gets a good push off. No big deal. Now I know there's a Spider-Man in the game. So, already in my mind, I'm sitting here going, great. There's a Spider-Man. I'm playing Rocket. That's a waste of DPS death. My thought process here is, if they have a Spider-Man and he goes for me, he's probably not going to kill me. So as long as none of my other teammates make major mistakes, I'm good. Now I'm sitting in the back again. I like sitting far in the back as Rocket because I want to be able to see what my team is doing. So I move up a little bit. I take a couple seconds to just do that, get the res down, and I see our team's pushing up here. So good. I'm probably at this moment, I'm making a mistake. What I probably should be doing is realistically, I'm kind of scared to go up because I can't see very clearly where they're positioned. I think for me, getting up to this high ground would make sense. But right now I have a decent line of sight of my entire team. I have still some cover to play around if I need to, but let's continue going on. So I'm going up. Boom. Unfortunately, that's one of the biggest reasons I hate playing around that curve is, this is just me being bad, is as we push up, boom, immediately hit that clip. Because my tiny little raccoon body, even though my reticle is like center of the screen and is facing above the platform, my gun hits the ledge and is now going to ricochet towards the sky.
Oh, please.
Boom. So I just have two shots that just don't do anything because I'm trying to climb up this low ground, which is just super cancer. So, unfortunately, Spider-Man kills our Thor, and because he's so deep, he doesn't get the res. Our Hela dies. She gets rezzed. Now again, I'm dealing with Spider-Man, no big deal. Nothing's happened. That Spider-Man again has jumped on me, has not accomplished anything. So we just made a push and achieved nothing and had 2 deaths, and my res is down. So right now, we are not having a good time. And once again, why do I keep doing that? I'm stupid. And once again, we're feeding into this choke point. And I don't know, and I really probably should be yelling at somebody about this. Whether it's my Thor, whether it's the Moon Knight, maybe even Hela. Just somebody needs to not feed into this choke point. We have other angles of avenues. Why are we not using them? But no matter, this is largely my fault, so let's continue filming. So again, just pumping the heals. I see we're pushing through. So once again, I see that we're pushing up. So my initial thought here is just pop the ult, try to get damage out, try to set up opportunities for our Hela and our Moon Knight to try to get pressure and maybe find a pick. Because if we get a pick, we win the game. So I'm going to talk about POV and see where the range of this ult is. So my ult range puts me basically, ironically, about where I want it. There's an argument that I probably should be a little bit more forward, but we have this box to play around. And as long as my team doesn't overextend around this box, we can put a lot of pressure. They don't have a lot of cover. Their only cover is also this box. But the problem is the team on my side is not using the cover. Their team, notice how everyone on their team is playing around this cover. So, okay. Now, I'm in the back. I have the ability to slide over if I need to, but I'm far enough back that I say that they probably cannot easily snipe me. The whole left side there doesn't have a good view of me. Okay.
This is real!
So what does my team do in response to this? Moon Knight goes up. I think this was the first cringe moment. Now, he's amped up. I'm sure he's looking for a flank. They're all in the open. What happens here? I'm going to slow this down just a little bit so I can see.
Firepower!
So he gets the moon. No way. He just goes in, does a security kills. He's just overextended. Thing pushes up. I'm way in the back. Why am I so far back? There's no reason for me to be that far back, though.
You're welcome.
Leave them to Khonshu.
A little help, please.
So he pops the moon. Okay, I know what's going on here. So once again, I see my team pushing up. No Ankh on ult, no wonder no one died. So again, I'm being nervous about pushing up, and I don't need to be. I need to be, when I see my team moving forward, I need to be more aggressive, and I need to be more aggressive about using this ledge here. I'm not happy with it, but I would probably be better off just taking this ledge. But I guess my problem is if I'm using this ledge as rocket, my height's like yay high. So I got this little bitty sliver to look through and this little sliver to look through. Now my shots do bounce, so I do have a way of healing everybody, and I have enough effective healing range to get to everybody. But I think I need to be using this. I don't need to be here. This is wrong. I need to be more comfortable using this and like dashing up here to use it. Because once I'm down here, I'm effectively too slow in this fight coming up.
Are undefeatable!
So Spider-Man comes up to me. Now, here's, I think, do I make a mistake here? So, I see that he went for me. I immediately dash out. He's completely whiffed. I have a good view. I think, let me take a look. So, yeah, so now I'm trying to play around. Now, this is where I think I may make a mistake here in a second. But this is where I think I get confused. So, my healer's here. I think that's my first mistake. I am not aware of what my healer is doing. I don't have any vision of my healer. I have no awareness of my healer. I'm looking at the two tanks. They're both full health. My vision should probably be need to be looking at the two low-range people in the back. But I know Spider-Man's behind me, and he's just not contributing to anything. Moon Knight is dead. So I'm sitting here thinking it's a 5v5. We should have an advantage. We should have the opportunity to do something. But again, I know vision changes. I know both my tanks are full health. Now this is where I think I lose my mind. So I dashed. So let's play this slowly. So I see Spider-Man. He dashes. So here, I dash here because my thought process is I have this as cover and I have this as cover. Even though I'm in the middle of the lane right now, I have cover. What I don't have at this point, though, is I don't think I see the doctor. Even though he's like directly at the top of the screen, my brain doesn't register that because I'm looking for the red health bars and trying to get information. Unfortunately, I think that's going to punish me here in a second. So, boom. Doctor Strange is already on me. And I'm confused, and I get out. So boom, I'm out. So I actually make it out of that situation with both Doctor Strange and Spider-Man diving me. Unfortunately, I dive past them to go towards my tanks. And unfortunately, because I've never looked this direction, my Hela and my Invisible Woman are just dying. I'm moving towards my 2 full health tanks looking for protection, while my 2 squishies are literally never seen by me ever again. And unfortunately, Hela gets sniped. I back around. I'm trying to play around the Spider-Man. And then at this point, I'm trying to get heals in the tank, but I just can't escape. I'm too deep, and I'm not accomplishing anything. So here, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. Okay. So I'm coming back. So far, I don't believe it's a healer ult problem. Because, again, the healer ult is not why my Moon Knight missed whiffed his ult entirely. A healer ult is not why my Invisible Woman and my Hela just got dunked on. There's nothing, that's not a healer ult issue. Now, there is an argument to be said that, like, maybe I could have used a healer ult more aggressively. Maybe I could have moved the team if I was using a healer ult. And that we could be using that healer ult more offensively than defensively. I think that's probably a fair case. But I'm also kind of confused as to why our team is so split up and we're not able to use the amplifier to actually get picks or get damage. And especially with the Moon Knight actually using his ult in tandem with my ult, and the fact that he got nothing for it is really painful to watch. Now, does that necessarily, should I be blaming him? Not necessarily. But, okay, so we're coming back. Again, I have advantage of my team. I'm kind of running in slow motion. So again, same song and dance. We're just going up. I notice my whole team has got full health. I see we're still running up into this choke point. No, we blamed NetEase for the Chain Goon Knight nerfs. Yeah, I mean, the Chain Moon Knight nerfs are a little ridiculous, I will say. But unfortunately, like, it doesn't help me to blame the Moon Knight, right? Like, what does blaming Moon Knight honestly help me with? Not really much. Now, I do find it interesting that at this point, Moon Knight swaps to Namor. So now we have a Namor. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's why we blame game. But, okay, I'm sitting here going, okay, we have a Namor. What do you do? Again, I put the res down. My team is still okay. Invisible Woman is getting focused. And unfortunately, boom. So here's what's happened here. This is a great moment of, this should be a great opportunity for us. Spider-Man just ulted. They are down a player. We just survived. Unfortunately, our Invisible Woman died, but she's literally right back into the fight again. Because of the rocket res, no one else has died, and with a couple seconds, we can full heal everyone back up to full. This, I should just be swapping to damage more, but I'm a little worried about Mr. Milky Man because he is critical in the back, so I'm like having to prioritize healing to get people out of the fight. I do eventually get him out, but unfortunately, in that time that I do, my Thor has now inted himself, reverting us back to a 5v5 in the time that it took to get the hell out of her sleep. So Invisible Woman actually does the correct thing. She uses her ult, tries to create pressure using a defensive ult. We combo with Thing, and unfortunately, my thought process here is I'm moving up with the team. So let me think if this was incorrect. So, okay, we go up. Again, I don't know why I'm so scared to use this ledge to my right. I need to use it, and I'm kind of scared. But I see my team pushing up, and so my thought process is I'm going to push up with my team. There is going to be a lot of mistakes happening here in the next few seconds.
Anyone willing to help?
So, pushing up. So, I hear favorite time. My thought process here is I see this penny like directly in front of us. I see a thing, I see a Hela, I see a Namor. I'm thinking we're just going to burn down this penny that got CC'd. So I go in and I just dunk on her. How close was she to death? Unfortunately, we don't burn her down fast enough, and she does get her ult, which gives her a fatty shield. GG. It is what it is. And then I try to put pressure on the Strange. I don't get anything for it.
By the eye of
And Eye of Agamotto immediately blows up our other healer. And now we have completely lost this fight. Just, it is completely done. We have scuffed it so hard that it's not even funny. Now, I recognize the fight is lost. I see that they're pushing us back, so I'm going to just dodge back to just say, look, we just need to reset. And if we keep, as long as we just try not to do anything too stupid, we're good. Now, here, I'm using this pillar to kind of keep myself safe. I've got a good pillar. How safe was I, actually? No, they backed off. Okay, cool. Even though I didn't see that, I was pretty sure that even with their line of sight, like, I'm perfectly safe behind this pillar with my little raccoon body. Yeah, I am. Okay, cool. So again, so far this game, as a reminder, I have died one time. Team already, I've got people with 3 deaths on my team already. And for some reason, our other healer has swapped to Loki. I don't know why. Again, we know what they're playing. Mantis and Cloak and Dagger are very strong. But I don't think that's necessarily the reason that we're having troubles. They're getting much better high-value tank ults than we are, and our DPS is not accomplishing anything. So again, I swap it up. I put my ult there because I'm now unsure whether we're going to be able to get the pressure, oh my god, that we need moving forward. I'm not sure anymore. With a Loki now in the mix, I'm now wondering how are we planning on moving forward. So, again, no big deal. Nothing crazy is happening. So, once again, this might be a mistake for me. So, I'm going to think this through. So, we're pushing up, and I see things starts haymakering forward. So, I pop my ult. So, where's my ult placement again? It's right there. Which means the ult radius is, again, about where I want it to be. Now, I think my problem here is I misinterpret how far up thing actually is. I see him push up, and the moment I do, now I've wasted my ult. My tank has actually chosen to go for a flank. What I should be doing here is I need to actually be more patient. I think what would actually make more sense is instead of me popping this ult right here, we need to wait till we pushed up a little bit further. So, okay, so now we're pushing up. Loki's got increased damage, Hela's got increased damage, Namor's got increased damage. Thing is starting to push up. Thor's starting to push up. So now we have the trade of the beluga whales. But the tragedy here, so he's popping his ult around a corner, praying it's going to hit somebody. He has us locked in a choke where we have basically 2 players just guaranteed to get hit. Boom. Thankfully, no one is punished. The Loki actually pops his thing, which actually ends up saving our Hela. And their Mantis actually gets dumped. Boom. Namor gets a kill. We are now ahead on the board. So honestly, the ult placement in that situation was not bad. The only thing that happened differently is now we had 2 good ults following the Raccoon ult which is now giving us the tempo swing. So, where am I positioned? Or why am I positioned there, actually? So something's wrong here. So,
Patch you up. Team play. Don't mind me.
okay, I know what's happening here. So, once again, I'm afraid to push up. And I need to stop being afraid to push up. Team is pushing in, and part of the reason I'm afraid to push up is I'm getting pegged by the squid that I can't see around the corner. So I need to be pushing up more. But ultimately, we're ahead. We res the tank, and boom, we just start getting kills. Boom. I get slugged, I think I'm gonna die. I don't actually end up dying. And at this point, I'm really scared of what's gonna happen here.
We are undefeatable!
Now they get a massive reset here. Now this is where I think I lose my mind. So, play this back. So here, my question when I need to ask myself is, why am I not attacking? No. Everyone is fully in a low-key deal. There's no reason for me to hear. Where did this Spider-Man come from? So he backs off. So I get focused. Okay. So I'm trying to play around the corner. I have Spider-Man on me. What is my thought process here? Thought process is I'm getting hit by Spider-Man. Oh no. Am I just completely out of position? I'm hiding around the pillars to avoid getting blasted by the other three people on the other side. But then that's also begging the question, why am I not with them? Why am I not in these Loki circles doing damage? I'm off by myself, trying to sit back and passive. Okay, so I'm going to slow this down, see how I die. So, boom, I dodge. And I heal. And I juke around. And now, because I moved up here, this again is where my confusion begins to really upset me. So I moved up to avoid Spider-Man. So this is where I think I get confused. I'm not sure what the correct answer is here. So I'm sitting in the back to avoid being the target. I don't want to be targeted. If I go to those Loki clones, they're eventually going to die. Right now, they've got ults going on. And so, okay, I'm behind here. She just popped her ult. I'm getting focused by Spider-Man with no assistance. Okay, whatever. I keep myself alive, and again, the Loki things break. So this is where my confusion is. So I'm here. The question was, if I had even been standing in the center, where would I have gone to? The center is not good for me. I could have dashed over here, but I don't really... Maybe that is the correct play, is swapping over to these boxes. Because now I've put myself back into the open, trying to play around here. But the moment I've put out myself in the open,
Leave me,
Time for some fireworks.
I'm out in the open. Mantis is just going aggro. Namor is dropping in. Our tanks are super deep. I'm trying to deal with Spider-Man, and then all of a sudden, I have Tank and Spider-Man on me immediately.
You know what to do, spiders?
I get over the ledge. Spider-Man kills me.
It's clobbering time!
So, and then Spider-Man also kills Arhella because I dashed towards him. Boom, kills her. And we can just watch the fight at full speed. And again, then we just slowly start losing this fight. But eventually I think we do get there. Yeah. Yeah. Eventually we get through the fight. It takes forever, but we do get there. Now we eventually get there. Spider-Man again jumped on me. No assistance. Hold on. Once again. Let's run back to my POV. I'm coming back. Oh, there comes Spider-Man again. And I'm out. Cool. No big deal. So, at this point in the story, we have already had a long fought battle. Now we're in the push. And I'm thinking here, okay. I've died twice, both of which were rather unfortunate deaths. Overall, I'm dealing with the Spider-Man for the most part because I've only died 2 times, and again, it's taking multiple people to dive on me for me to eventually die. So I'm in a mindset where I'm kind of okay with what's happening for me, but the problem is the rest of my team is not succeeding. And part of that is my fault, and part of that is a positioning issue on my fault. And part of it is maybe also, am I popping my ult too early, trying to force those engages and baiting my team into a bad fight? That's also a realistic question. So poor positioning, popping the ult too early, maybe waiting for the team to push up more, and then popping the ult. Those are all viable questions, or viable discussion points. So far I've only died twice. Good. For the most part, the dive is not my biggest concern. And for the most part, I'm dealing with it fine. So, cool. I grab me some extra armor just in case I do dive. And again, we're just pushing up. We have an ult. And again, so I get ult and I immediately push it. And my thought process here is I see these two. I know they're all around the corner. But I think, again, I'm rushing it. Because my question is, why am I popping it when our thing's here and they're there? Like, we're not going to get anything out of this. This is me being too push heavy on my ult. I need to dial it back a little bit and be a little bit more considerate. Now, I think in this game I was also a little bit tilted, and I was wanting my team to find those aggressive pushes, and we just were not finding them.
This is rip.
And so I'm hoping that this amplifier is going to motivate the team more to actually search for those picks more aggressively.
Firepower.
It's spider time!
So again, I ult.
Don't mess with the amazing Spider.
And again, I'm sitting up here because why? Why am I here?
Man.
Well, part of the reason
You're welcome.
is that I'm dodging him. I don't have good vision of the fight.
But the Ocean's King has fallen.
Now, I know where Spider-Man's at. I'm trying to take care of the team. What would have been a better choice here? Why is my Thor so far back? I'm so confused. So again, I popped a really aggressive ult. Team's too far back to really play off of it. Their Spider-Man dives me. I get focused, and because I'm here, I should never be here. I don't know why I'm here. And so I'm here. Team is here. And they just get blasted.
With the amazing Spider-Man.
And I get blasted as punishment in that process too. Now, our Loki gets res, he just dies. Or no, he gets away, doesn't he? No, he dies. So, once again, we're now going to make a push back.
You stopped them in their tracks.
How refreshing.
So I didn't die to Spider-Man, but my choice and my decision to try to force that push ended up killing my team. And my team balling up into a death ball ends up getting them murdered by Spider-Man. Now, that is an argument for the defensive ult, but again, the question is, if I was playing the defensive ults, how many... Oops, I'm going to fix something on my end. How many deaths would Spider-Man already have on me, considering the attention I've been getting? And I think that's also something worth mentioning. Now, again, maybe I would have had the, maybe if I was playing another defensive healer, I could be sitting on my team, could wait for the Spider-Man ult and then try to, combat it. I'm not sure. But the question is, would I just be dying more outside of my ult? And would that really be helpful? And that's it. And I think that's ultimately the question here is, how many kills? Because at this point, Spider-Man's already got 9 kills. I don't know how he has 9 final hits, but he's got 9. Our other healer is having a miserable time. And again, I don't know why he swapped to Loki, but whatever. Now, him swapping to Loki maybe would have been the argument of, should I have swapped? But then the question was, why would he have swapped off the healer anyways? He didn't start as Loki. So I don't know what possessed him to go from a healer with a defensive ult, then play Loki, whose whole job is to steal defensive ults. I think because he was also getting targeted by the Spider-Man, because he couldn't target me, he targeted the other healer, maybe. But then that still begs the question. Your Invisible Woman was dealing with it. I don't know how I don't know. I think that was a weird choice. Maybe. But then the question is, again, at that point, does it make sense for me to swap to Invisible Woman for the team? I think a lot of people, and especially a lot of people who are going to be in the comments section, would probably argue, yes, you should be playing Invisible Woman here. You should be playing Rocket Raccoon. Rocket Raccoon's bad. But I don't know. Again, there was no communication. There was no communication about swapping to Loki, getting an extra defensive CD. Though to be fair, at this point I probably would be very tilted. I probably wouldn't be giving them another defensive CD. So that's just me being an asshole. But at the end of the day, they're getting their damage output out. They're making their plays happen. Let's continue. So, okay, push up. Boom, Thor gets a kill. Tank dies. He only gets 1. Tank dives in, and I think we barely save it. And so we're just pushing up. Boom. Now my controller gameplay is super bad there. Team avoids the main roll. Boom. Everything goes beautifully. So our res actually ends up buying us the position that we need. So, okay, here, I'm going to hold on to my ult because obviously we're in a good spot. I don't have res. I'm going to try to help break this wall down. Now, I drove a relay, so that's something. So, let me think this through. So, this is something I've been trying, is dropping the res here, because I've noticed this back room isn't very used all that often by most players. So my thinking here is I'll put the res in the back spot where not too many players go, either on offense or defense. It's not in view of the main fight. It's close enough that if anyone dies, we have good vision. So I'm going to slow this down. So I'm going to think this through. So for some reason, I see the portal, and I make a bad judgment call here, I think. So I see the portal. My first instinct is to get away from the portal. So I jump off, recognize my mistake, and then try to climb back up. And then immediately I'm having to dash. which is now keeping me way out of the fight for a long time. Now, this isn't a major loss, but it's just like a small tech issue of like, I just need to be patient and comfortable and wait. So I come back around, and then because of all that time, I'm losing time healing. Now, I think, so we get the heal here. So I got real firepower because we're in the middle of a fight. We've already gotten one. We're ahead. Now, I know Spider-Man... Oh, what the hell? Okay, interesting. I didn't know that did that. Spider-Man's killing my Onk. And I know that, and I'm sitting here going, look, if he's killing my Onk, he's not in the fight. I'm fine with that. I'm 100% A-okay with him not being in the fight. Boom, another person dies.
Your powers are mine!
Now, here, I think what happened is, due to the little platform, I think I was kind of happy here. I think I tried to dash through, but because of his body and the platform, I get out, and I'm just pumping heals as best I can. Unfortunately, I still get blasted in the air. Like, there's just nothing I can do about that. But, in the time that I died, he's out of the fight. Or Doctor Strange's out of the fight. Their DPS died because of the amplifier. And so they're basically, we're just winning this fight because we have a numbers advantage that ends up mattering. So the numbers advantage ends up winning us the game. The amplifier does what it needs to do. No big deal. It's just taking a really long time to finish up. Again, I'm a little frustrated because, again, I did have to die to Spider-Man. Putting my death cap at this point in the game to 4. Now, 4 deaths for me is pretty high for a game. So I'm really frustrated. But team did win, so I take that as, you know what? I'm a little frustrated. I'm not happy that Spider-Man's perma-focusing me. But overall, it's working out for my team. If I get focused and my team wins, I'll take that trade. So, okay, cool. Me, I've got a long walk.
Now might be a good time to stop
This was a mistake. I should have just probably sat in base and just waited.
them.
But, okay, I'm coming up. Team's fighting.
That vehicle.
It's taking me forever to get back because I didn't sit and spawn. Okay, I finally get here. So again, I see, boom, right as I come back, look who's right there, Spider-Man, immediately coming for me. I just go and say, okay.
Mess with the amazing Spider-Man!
Now, I'm super mad here. I literally just get back. How should I have played that differently? So I have to take this long walk. And here's what frustrates me. I see Spider-Man coming. I see my team.
You're ready for action!
And so here's where I need to reevaluate this play. So again, he's going straight for me. I know he is. I have that on lockdown. I've got that taken care of. That in itself was not the issue.
Mind me, I'm just dying.
So I move towards my team because I see the Namor there. I have a Loki there. And my thought process is I should try to jump on my team in order for them to help me, because if he tries to continue meleeing me, he's just going to be right in the middle of my team. Boom, I get a couple heals. Now,
The amazing...
here's where I get, like, super frustrated. So I'm trying to pump heals. He is now popping his ult. And this is why I get fucking mad at Spider-Man ults. The fact that he is slowing, stunning.
Spider-Man!
Boom! He pops his thing. Immediately, it gets blasted. And again, it just stuns us both. And he's just able to kill me in that situation. So in that spot, what was I supposed to do? I think pragmatically speaking, I don't know if there was a better play. Because the only other option was to not trust my team and to take Like, if I take this slow, the only other option here was either coming behind this corner or trying to go around that corner and not go towards my team. But I would have had to have known that Spider-Man was going to ult me. And I don't think I had the cognizant awareness at that point in time to know that he did or did not have his ult. If I had assumed he had his ult, I maybe should have went to the side, have him just get the 1-for-1. Team has to play a 5v6 again. There's not much else I can do against Spider-Man ult at that point. Especially after dashing once. I think here I made the right play if this had been the early game. But him just ulting, immediately killing the Loki clone, and just eventually getting all that value off is unreal. And then just us immediately getting blasted.
Beholds the god of thunder!
And again, I want to also point out that, lo and behold, the Spider-Man gets out and our Namor hasn't done anything about it.
60 seconds left.
So, boom. Okay, yeah, let's speed this up. So, okay, coming back.
I'll patch you
Just
up.
trying to get my team back on.
I am barely hard.
Now we're trying to push up slowly. Again, the team's doing a great job. I'm on top of this.
I'm just dying.
So again,
Armor patch here.
Down to 30
can't really
seconds.
push up. I'm playing behind a corner. Does that? So this is something I didn't know as well. Supposedly that mask blocks my heal, so I just had a wasted heal that I was not prepared for. It still probably made sense for me to just chunk it to the other side of the room because they're not probably coming into this room. But I just did not expect this mask to block my res.
Down to 30 seconds.
So we're on a timer. Tank dies. And because I don't have my res, this costs, again, another major fight. Because, again, I just didn't expect the res to not work there.
We are undefeatable.
So I put the res there. And now this is a really crisp place for this res. But it's the only one I can really do. And just, unfortunately, my Hela just immediately died. Or no. Yeah, he just immediately dies.
Us against the world.
And we're just fighting it out. Now at this point, I know, like, for some reason, and again, this is something I need to be really critical about myself, is my team has the defensible now. I need to be going into the defensible and start spraying, and I'm not. I'm playing the back, trying to be safe, and I'm trying to deal with the Spider-Man who's just trying to dive into the back still.
By the eye of Agamotto!
Now again, I'm still fighting this. My Namor is fighting a tree, while Spider-Man is just repeatedly on me. Now granted, I should have helped with the tree sooner, but again, just boom. And then eventually we just lose here. Nothing we can do, he loses the point. At this point, I just make the cardinal decision, just let it die. Ain't no way.
I feel vulnerable.
No, I still should have died with the point. That was on me for not diving the point. I think so my tilt at this point has gone full. I'm full tilted. And that's not healthy. And I made several misplays at the end because I've had several things go wrong. I've been perma-dove by Spider-Man most of the game. And again, he has 14 final hits. And with that being the case, I'm pulling a lot of pressure from the Spider-Man. And it hasn't like he's been just 1-for-1 every time on all his attempts. So at this point, I have to ask myself and reevaluate, like, what was I really as effective as I was? Part of it is yes. But unfortunately, a Spider-Man ult is a Spider-Man ult. And there's only so much I can do. I do think that for a lot of it, I did have a lot of weird mispositions that I'm like looking back and recognizing like maybe I should have positioned this way, maybe I should have positioned that way. Maybe I should be thinking about it. Again, I had a really bad res placement that I didn't expect the blobs to screw me on. That's one of the things I do kind of hate about Rocket Res. I do think I kind of wish they would change it. Because you really don't understand why Rocket Res fail. Like, you don't know that a Rocket Res is going to always fail. And then just sometimes it does. And it just doesn't work. And it's like, well, why did it not work? Well, because it didn't get a chance to apply properly. And unfortunately, you're waiting so long for that mistake to resolve itself that you just get screwed. And like, again, I just didn't even know that corner had like terrain in a way that was going to block that. So it's a learning error that I need to be more cognizant of. Though, to be fair, that was kind of cursed that did happen right then and there. Again, Spider-Man's only got 3 deaths. No one's really dealing with him. And so, again, me choosing not to be on the point was a mistake. I should have dove it. I didn't recognize that we had as much chance. I should still be diving the point anyways, regardless of whether I think it's lost or not. So at this point, their Spider-Man's talking trash. Nobody's helping the raccoon. I already know that. That's the only day in the life of Rocket Raccoon. Nobody's going to help the Rocket. However, I want to point this out. So we've had a really rough game. But we made a good push. We made it to the second back area. So all we need to do now is just have a really strong hold. Unfortunately, with the way that our team is playing, that's not looking like it's going to happen. But we did have a good push. So we're going to continue on. So again, I'm expecting Spider-Man. They're again talking smack. I know that they're talking smack. Basically, they're giving this Namor a hard time by giving me a hard time. Basically saying, like, why is Namor not helping Rocket? I'm already expecting power. That's, again, normal gameplay. So, long story short, I'm going to break this wall. Slow down. And so, again, I'm expecting Spider-Man. This is partially why I'm trying to break this wall. And sure enough, you know, we're just trying to break this wall. Now, here's where I think I'm, like, so, okay. Thankfully, my Punisher, my Gothduck here, who was with me in that game, sees the Spider-Man. He knows what he's expecting. He knows that I'm having a problem. He's playing Punisher. We have a great synergy. This is a great team up to have. So he's already, like, we're already, like, preparing ourselves for this. So here, I think I'm in a great spot. I've got a high ground. I've got corner coverage. Really, I just got to be careful of this direction because it's kind of hard for the enemy to flank from the right. So as long as I'm keeping an eye out on the left, which is why I'm kind of hugging the more right side here, I'm in a good spot. And again, we see the enemy team from this angle, so I think this is really just as good as it gets, honestly. So again, Duck is having a good time. He's just murdering people. Our whole team's just murdering them. He goes, so now he finally goes down. He finally goes down to the position. I'm fine with that. He's going to go up and try to get a better angle. We've got a res totem. That's out of the sight, out of mind. I've got a good spot. I can take care of myself. Boom. Everything is great. So, again, kind of being mindful of my left-hand side. Again, I can largely only really see the right. But I hear Thwip. As soon as I hear Thwip, I know he's on my left-hand side immediately. So here's what I do to just deal with that. XD, walk around the ledge. Because I can walk on this ledge, he can't really. So I'm in perfect safety mode of this Spider-Man. Just chilling on the edge here, walking on the ledge. Team is perfectly taken care of. Spider-Man's not getting any value here. And I'm just going to mess with him by just sitting on this edge. Because I know that he can't really deal with me. Cool. I'm having a great time. Now,
you're welcome.
I canceled my res here because
Much better.
I noticed that he didn't go left, and I didn't want him to destroy my res totem, so I do that.
Deed for the day.
Boom, Spider-Man's dead.
Nice spot.
I go put it in my second backup spot. So far, everything is great. We've killed Spider-Man, we've dealt with him.
Powering up.
We've got, at this point, 2 minutes and 40 seconds. So they have already burned 1 minute and 15. Not getting anything.
I'll patch
We
you
are
up.
holding a really strong defense.
Wherever they are, they don't
We're
look
showing
that
promise. We're not. And really the biggest thing is, can we not overextend? So again, nothing strange happening. We're just all just doing our thing. Now, I think right here, I'm keep looking left because I'm trying to see if their Spider-Man's going to show up again. Because I'm expecting their Spider-Man to just, again, focus on perma-focusing. Now, if from y'all's perspective, y'all are going to notice that the Spider-Man has changed to Loki. Now, I don't see that from my angle very well. I can't even see it. My allies can. No one really says anything about it. So I don't think anything of it. I don't see it. I can't really get a good view of it.
You're welcome.
Now I'm getting hit. Ow. I'm trying to figure out what's hitting me. So this is why I'm sitting up here, because I can sit around this corner. It's hard for them to get pressure on me. I can drop that for the Punisher. He should be getting a lot of damage out.
We are undefeatable.
And we just keep doing what we're supposed to do. Now, this is where I lose my mind. So, their Loki is going to take his time, and he's going to stealth behind the team. Now, no one on our team can really see that. That's a Loki deception. But we're just fighting this team fight out, right? Now, right now, we have the advantage 6v5. We have a numbers advantage. Nothing strange should be happening here. Now, I hear the footsteps of the Loki, but I can't figure out where it's coming from. I don't know why I'm hearing footsteps. I do get cognizant of this fact, but I just don't know what to do with that information.
I'll patch you up.
Now, drop the amplifier. So we are, right now, as a reminder, we are in a 6v5. Their Moon Knight just spawned. And it's actually realistically more of a 4v6 because, again, their Loki has taken... How long did he go on this excursion for? How long did he go on this excursion for? So here he is. So he's just trying to do his thing, trying to apply pressure. And so at the 2-minute 20 mark, he decides to go on his excursion. Their Moon Knight is dead. So, 2-minute 20, we are fighting literally a 6v4. Literally 6v4. They do not have... Now, they do have double healers, so they have double healers, DPS tank. We are not getting any value right now. I have to come to say your mama to also tell Q to Diamond 1. You're right, I don't see a Doctor Strange. So we are literally fighting a 6v4. So he left on this journey at 2-minute 20 seconds. So 10 seconds of 6v4, no one on their team has died yet. Literally nobody. Continue on. Boom, amplifier. 13 seconds, okay. So we still know they are still fighting a 6v4 effectively this entire time. Amplifier goes out, clobbering time comes out. Now I'm going to swap to my POV and rethink how I should have done this next play. So I'm going to slow it down.
This is real
So
firepower.
So,
Your red zone hostiles.
so boom. They just killed someone. So now, again, even with Moon Knight coming back, at best, at the absolute best, until this Loki takes action, this is still a 4v6 or 6v4.
Team play. That's me.
Now, this is when I lose my mind. At this point, I'm confused. I'm trying to understand how 3 Loki clones appeared out of nowhere on top of me. So I admit, at this point, I'm shook, I am panicked, I am cognizantly broken. Like, I cannot comprehend the situation I'm in. I do not know why this is happening. I do not know how this happened. I never saw the Loki clone get behind me. I'm trying to understand how this occurred. Okay. So, can't understand why it's happening. Don't know why it's happening. So now I got to think about, what am I supposed to be doing? So my first instinct is the following. My gut instinct is to actually come this direction. And the reason my gut instinct is to come this direction is there are 3 Loki clones there. And my goal is to try to get on this lip and try to get out of sight, out of mind. Because he's directly behind me, I can't turn around and try to dash behind forward. And I don't want to dash out into the middle of the arena because that is nowhere near a safe place for me right now. While we have a full-on battle going, even though we have a numbers advantage. So my only solution to try to keep myself alive is to try to get behind this ledge and to try to survive.
Don't mind me.
So I'm panicking. And again, I try. Unfortunately, I'm too slow. And he ends up killing me. Now, at this point, the fight is now 5v5. We have Amplifier running. This is where I lose my mind. And again, actually, let's remind ourselves, Moon Knight is still nowhere in the fight yet. So this is still effectively 5v4. But I am dead. I admit, I screwed up. But I don't know. I think the problem is I couldn't move forward because their Strange is moving up. I don't know if I could have dashed through him to get to the back. I think the only real option, ironically, was to try to go into this room and hide around a corner just enough. But I think in almost every option he had me cooked. Like, I just lost there. Because, again, I just did not predict a Loki clone. So, Duck turns around.
My life force is exposed.
And so I'm dead. So now we have multiple things going on. So the Loki has already killed me. We have 3 people come up to deal with a Loki. And so he gets 2 kills.
The moon haunts you.
3 kills. And team 4. And it's over. So that one play that he made was actually really good. Unfortunately. I don't really know how I could have outplayed it. But I also don't know why my one death had to also lead to a straight team wipe. But because it did, because I immediately got jumped, because I immediately died, we lost the pressure. We immediately lose the ult battles. My ult didn't contribute anything in that fight by the looks of it because no one actually died with my ult. And we just immediately lose the fight. And so our tanks die here. And that's it. And again, I'm not going in there. I've already seen that our team is wiped. I'm like, our team is cooked. At this point, I have lost my cool. And I know I've lost my cool. I am super mad. I'm super frustrated. I like how my background lighting, I haven't turned on the light in my room. It's just getting darker and darker as I tell this tale. So no one can see me. They just know I'm getting more and more mad as the story progresses. But as time progresses, it's over. And now I've seen that our Moon Knight, or was it Moon Knight, whatever he was playing. I've already forgotten what he was playing. Oh, he was playing Namor. Swap to Squirrel Girl. So I'm like even more like, okay, well, he's playing Loki. He's going to swap Squirrel Girl. It doesn't really help me at this point. So now, at least in my mind, I know Loki's targeting me. So So now I'm gonna try to start playing around.
To its destination.
So I've got some choices here. Now I dropped the thing there. I would like to put it up here, but I think my team is gonna play up in this spot. So my thinking is I need to kind of keep it nearby. Unfortunately, my options are not that great because the wall is up right here. I think ideally I would break this wall and then try to drop it, but it just leaves it too vulnerable. This is a terrible spot because it'll just break. Team is fighting over here. I don't know why. So we're just trying to get people out.
I'll patch you up.
So again, nothing happens. Okay. Now this is funny. So I see she's just getting blasted. And like, we're both trying to heal and no one's getting her. So again, he jumps on me. I actually make it out because I had already planned for this. So I immediately just jump and take the high ground. Thankfully he didn't pre-set up one, though I think that would have given her away. So now I'm in a weird spot. Okay, I've got the high ground. There are 3 Loki clones just chilling in the back. Both my tanks are forward. Healer's sitting next to my Ankh. Again, I don't know if that was necessarily bad Ankh placement. I think there is an argument to be made I should have chose a different spot, knowing the Loki clone was going to be diving me, but I didn't think that she would immediately run over to my Ankh. Pragmatically speaking, it was probably better if I had placed it in here. Probably would have been a better spot. Let's see what happens. I've kind of forgotten.
I'll patch.
So I think I cancel my Ankh. So I do cancel my Ankh, and unfortunately the Loki just kills my Punisher.
Your powers are mine.
The world.
So at this point, I just not able to get my ult off,
The moon haunts you.
and we're just getting steamrolled.
You're good with it. Keep going.
Their Loki has made a wonderful dunk on our team. Namor is just going to be. I think here I just made a bad play. I should have just jumped sooner. Then I just died. It's whatever. And it's just super cursed. Team just starts evaporating. It's not even a real game at this point. Now here, okay, team's trying to make a comeback fight.
Ready for action.
So again, I put the res down. I put the amplifier down because we're kind of desperate at this point. We need that amplifier. I don't think the amplifier in itself was a bad call. Honestly, everybody's getting full value from it. There's nobody who's not getting value from it other than our Punisher who's not here yet. I think the biggest question was knowing that they were going to have a Loki now. Did it make sense to swap? At this point, I'm giga tilted. But let's be realistic here. If I was playing another healer, what would I have played? Like, what realistically would have kept me alive? Nothing. Because, again, the issue in this game ultimately came down to is I'm getting target blasted. I am getting hard focused, and I am getting into a situation where the enemy team is selectively looking for me. And unless I'm going to sit in the middle of the enemy with my team who is not using cover to their advantage, that means I'm out in the middle of the open, wide open target as any other healer. That whether that's Cloak and Dagger, whether that's Invisible Woman, Luna Snow, I'm just sitting out in the open at that point because my team is not effectively using the cover, and even the cover I am playing around, we have an assassin effectively looking for me.
This is real firepower.
Us against the world. I appreciate you.
You're ready for action.
So here, again, another instance, again, the Loki is just right there, and he just immediately
Just dying.
gets here.
Taste.
So I get out. Somehow, somewhere I get out.
I'm good to go.
But Loki escapes. And thankfully, my res able to bring out our Punisher back to the fight. I decided to just get right out of the way. And at this point, I'm like, okay, we have a chance. The assassin did get a kill, but doesn't matter. Unfortunately, our Punisher dies once again, but okay. So at this point, we have a minute 30. We have a minute 30 in the fight. We have the opportunity to win this game and just hold them here. But nothing's ever that easy. Now, I know that they're targeting me. My first thought again is, where am I going to place? I don't have my res up yet. I'm just trying to find a good spot where I can sit, be safe, be comfortable. So, again, I'm kind of in a weird spot. I'm like out. I'm trying to come down because here's my problem with Rocket. Sitting on this corner here makes it really hard for me to heal when I've got 2 DPS here and they're over there. So my goal is I'm going to sit down here so I at least have the line of sight advantage and I can dash up if I need to escape. I think maybe the play in the future is take advantage of this hidey hole. I should be probably playing with this hidey hole more. I think the problem is, where's that? It's just hard to get back into the fight if I'm pushed out of the fight is my really big issue here. But okay, play it out. So again, put it down. I see enemy team pushing up. I see an opportunity to buff my Punisher. All good stuff. Unfortunately, we start falling back. And again, wait, why did I jump back so far? Did I feel that? So I come back, and because I see my team is falling back.
The moon.
So, why am I dashing up here now? Oh, because I basically recognize, like, hey, we need a res, and then boom. So, let's reevaluate this play. Let's reevaluate. So, we're getting pushed. I drop the deal to give our team the push. We immediately get pushed back.
The moon haunts you.
I drop a res here. So, unfortunately, I can't save both of them. They just died to Moon Knight ult. That's just what nothing can be avoided. Now, here's my first mistake. Why did I drop down from this ledge? I dropped down from this ledge because I don't have a good sight line, but I still want to be able to heal the team, and my thinking is to come down here. But even if I were to come down here, I need to be backing up. Ironically, I don't recognize that once again, we're losing a fight where their Loki is literally not, like, you gotta be kidding me. So again, let's point this out again to make sure I'm not losing my mind. When does he get to go on this magical journey? Like, that's crazy. So Loki is going on a magic journey. So at 1 minute 20, he's going on a magic journey. So once again, we are fighting 6v5. He comes around. But unfortunately, Moon Knight's going to turn this into a 6v4. He comes down. Hasn't popped his head yet, but we've already lost 2. I put the thing down. Again, I make the choice. Now, here I should have stayed. I should have just sat here, stayed. I am not aware that Loki is underneath me this entire time. And the fact that he's able to take this much time in the fight while their team was able to push up is crazy to me. Now, once I'm down here, I made a mistake. Ultimately, I need to be in one of 2 places. If I was going to come down, I needed to be here, or I need to be behind this box. Not in the open. I am too far in the open. And again, so unfortunately at this point, the Loki has decided to make his move, and their team makes the cognitive decision of, hey, we're all going to focus this healer. This seems coordinated. Like, this isn't even, like, remotely uncoordinated. I've got 2 tanks, and I've got multiple people zerging. But because I'm out in the open here, I have made it a terrible. The fact that Loki Invis doesn't have duration is actually insane. It is insane, and I give it that. And it's like, he made good plays with it. Like, he actually made good plays with it. But my mistake here is I shouldn't be out here in the open. This was a mistake. This was a crucial mistake. I don't know why I came here. I was better off either coming here or staying up there. And I need to remember, even though I hate firing heals from the high ground, that's a better spot than me being out in the open. And I think that I should have stayed up there at this point. But they rushed me down. Doesn't matter. Congratulations. The fight is now 6v4. Okay, our Thor gets one back, but at this point it's too late. We've lost too many bodies. We're now down in a 5v3. And unless someone pops off here, we just lose this fight. Which is basically what happens.
Only 60 seconds left.
So again, our tanks are fighting it out. Unfortunately, what they're really doing is just getting Giga staggered, and we just lose time. Unfortunately, they're staggered. I don't know why. He kind of goes up there. He dies. I think the team is tilted at this point. I know for sure I'm actually tilted. At this point, we should be backing off and just waiting for the tank because we're only going to get one last opportunity. We can't defend this. It's not salvageable. It's not worth trying to salvage. Like, we can't fight this point. It's not worth trying to fight it. We're just wasting time.
Keep up the momentum.
Now, here, I make another crucial mistake. So, again, team is trying to hold this point. I know it's a bad idea, but unfortunately, I'm kind of committed to helping the team at this point. I'm trying to keep the team alive, but I just cannot find a good cover here other than I guess I could move closer to this rock. But that rock would eventually cost me an equal way because of what happens next. So, Doctor Strange moves up. He sees me, and I already know what's happening next. If you don't know, take a wild fucking guess. By the Eye of Agamotto. Boom. And again, notice, both of them popped Eye of Agamotto. I am too far. Like, even though I'm trying to sit further back, they have no qualms dashing through the team and just, boom, explosion, 2 people dead. That's it. And that is ultimately my last death. And at this point, we can't make it back in time. I don't even want to try to salvage it at this point. We're just too far away. And they win. So, ultimately speaking, if I'm going to be objective about it, ultimately at the end of the day, I did not handle it as well as I still imagine that I did. I still ultimately think that there is definitely room for improvement, but I think that an ultimate problem that I'm having is I need to position myself better in some of these in-between situations, and I need to be more mindful of where my positioning and where my outs are. Now, granted, I just wasn't prepared for some of the Loki shenanigans that happened at the second half. Surprise, this may not surprise or may not be a surprise at all. I'm not used to Loki shenanigans like that. I haven't faced that many, so I wasn't mentally prepared as well as I should have been for those types of fights. But again, learning experience, everything is. Ultimately, I know I can't be seen anymore. It has become dark and scary, so I'm going to now try to wrap up this conversation. Long story short is I think that ultimately I don't think when I have that much pressure on me, there is a really good healing option. I think ultimately the value of Rocket is to survive those types of situations, and I did not use my character to its fullest potential in that game. I think I allowed myself to die too many times, which gave their team too much value, and basically every one of my deaths usually ended up with a wipe for my team. Either because of it or just because, panic sets in with the team when I'm dying. But unfortunately, at the end of the day, there is only so much I can do as one healer. I don't think there's a healing ult in the universe that could have prevented that. And there's a question of what healers should I have used. But again, I think that also goes back to, well, what could I have done? Could I have played something else? Could I have played Invisible Woman after my healer swaps to fucking Loki? Could I have maybe just picked Cloak and Dagger sooner? It's still done remotely the same thing. At the end of the day, I don't know if the healing was the option other than poor positioning and just not being skilled enough in dealing with divers still. And having to still rethink all the ways that I can be dove and counter those. So, thank you all for watching and listening today. I know I only covered 2 games, but I want to appreciate y'all for listening. I'm going to call that a break here. Hopefully that's provides some insight to kind of my thought process and thinking of what I should be doing, and hopefully will be education to myself into playing better. So, thank you all again, and I will see y'all next time.